Today, I'm showing you 12 extremely simple roof designs that you could use to elevate your box houses. And I also have a huge announcement to make that I'm very excited about. We have a lot ahead of us, so let's jump straight into it. Greetings friends, Khaios here. I'm taking a short diversion from the Pylon build redux to get a tutorial video out. So today I'm going to be building over a dozen extremely simple roof designs that you could use for your builds. I won't be talking about block choice at all today, just the roof shapes. When we choose blocks, it can change the theme of our builds. For example, hay might make one rooftop look medieval, but the same roof can make it look modern when you use Dynasty shingles. So these basic roof designs will be versatile, and I suggest you try them out with different materials to see what works best with your builds. Before we dive into the roof designs, however, I have an important announcement to make. Over the years, I've had a lot of people ask me if I play games other than Terraria, and if I'll ever make content on any of them. I've given it a lot of thought, and I'm finally going to be launching a brand new variety gaming channel, which I've named Chaos Theory. I'll be releasing just one video a week for now, with the first one coming out tomorrow, where I'll be playing House Flipper 2, building a cursed AI blueprint monstrosity of a house. But I also plan to play games like Subnautica, Corekeeper, Hightail, Valheim, Stardew Valley, and so much more. At first, I'll be focusing on sandbox games where I can flex my creativity, but I won't take any game off the table. My goal for Chaos Theory is to reach 4,000 subscribers in the first month, so if you're all interested in variety gaming content and you would like to help the new channel start off with a bang, head on over to it using the link in the description or pinned comment. The first video will be out tomorrow morning at 9 AM Pacific. I hope to see you all there. And if you're worried about what that means for this channel, no need to worry at all. I love Terraria and this channel isn't going anywhere. I'll still be putting the majority of my content right here. I just wanted to have a place where I can play some games other than Terraria and make full long-form content on it. Now, with that exciting announcement out of the way, let's get into building some rooftops. First and foremost, a flat rooftop. I mean, I figured why not? It's a valid housing option. It's a valid rooftop. So obviously, we could just leave it like this, and this might even work for a modern style house, like one of the artistic modern-esque houses. But if you were to just want a normal flat roof, I would recommend having an overhang of 2 to 3 blocks on the sides, then making the roof a little bit thicker. Then I would probably slope the corners and hammer the top of it down to a half. And now we have a very simple flat roof. Next up, we're going to talk about an A-frame roof. Now, this is a little bit weird for Terraria, because normally an A-frame roof goes all of the way down to the floor, and you just build up an A shape from there. Obviously, since we're in Terraria, this doesn't exactly work because we can't enter from the front of the building or the back of the building. We would be entering from the side in this orientation. So if you had a roof that was shaped like this, it wouldn't exactly work. So how do we get an A-frame in Terraria? I think I would just tweak it a little bit. So that way we have our doors around this level, and the A-frame will be built up from there. So let's just go ahead and build my own version of an A-frame roof in Terraria. We'll have our door, we'll come out, 1 to the left, 2 up, and we'll just repeat 1 to the right, 2 up, and do that all the way up until we reach the middle. Then we'll do the same on the other side. And if you really wanted to, you could actually extend this all of the way down to get an actual A-frame, then actuate the blocks at the very bottom And depending on what material you build this out of, you could paint them a lighter shade. So if you're doing something where it's going to be gray, we could grab white paint and paint it white so that it more closely matches, and then we could walk through it and get inside of the building. But I'm going to leave that out, and we'll just finish this rooftop up. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker by bringing it out one block to the sides and then just shaping the roof all over again. Then I'll take my hammer and I'll slope all of the blocks. They'll probably end up moving that door a little further out. Then we'll just fill in the building with whatever wall we're going to be using for the build. And there we have it, one A-frame roof. The next rooftop is probably the most common. This is a gable roof, and it's essentially just a small little triangle over the box. Now, with the gable roof, I don't usually like having it flush with the sidewall. I like to have a bit of an overhang, so we'll take this a little bit further out. Then once again, we'll make it thicker, like we did with the last one. If I'm doing this, I would obviously make the walls inside of the building look thicker to match, but we're just focusing on the rooftops for today, so I don't think that's necessary right now. Now, to get the roof to connect with the building, we could either fill in walls here, or we could just punch in a hole in the roof and replace the block. For the interior, we could either build an attic in this space, or we could make a vaulted ceiling by getting rid of the blocks and just filling it in with walls. And that gives us a gable roof. The next few rooftops are actually going to be variations of the gable. Like I said, this is the most common roof, at least modern, like nowadays, I guess you would say. So we're just going to vary this a little bit in a few simple ways. So with that gable, we were going one block, then one block and one block, everything with a one block step, right? So this next roof is going to be what's called a low pitched gable. And that means bringing the slope, the angle from here, bringing it down. And how we'll pull that off is pretty simple as well. We'll start off with having the outer edge over here. And instead of going one up, one up, one up, we're going to go a couple over, then up. With the low pitch gable, we could either leave it like this, where it's just going to be a less smooth of a roof because it'll be a slope, then a flat, then a slope, then a flat. Or what we could do is have a solid roof all of the way through and do half step ups like this. Now, the reason why I say leave it filled in for this roof style is because we can't do a half hammer on the bottom side of a block. We can only do it on the top, which kind of limits what we have available to us in terms of shaping this evenly. We can get a slope on the bottom side, but we can't get a half so we can't get it to match exactly on the bottom. So personally, I feel like if you're gonna do a low-pitched gable, and if you want it to look perfectly even, you will just do half steps on the top and then have a solid roof down below. Obviously, if we have a low-pitched gable, we could have a high-pitched gable, which will be pretty much the same thing in the opposite direction. So instead of going one up, one up, one up, we will go two up, then one over, two up, one over. And this will carry all of the way up to the middle, giving us a high-pitched gable. And there we go. We don't have a trick like the half-step method to get a perfectly even and smooth gable like we did with the normal gable and the low-pitched, but I don't feel like it matters as much. I think it looks good having these slope and flats going upwards for the high-pitched gable. While we're talking about roofs with a pitch, another roof style that we could do is called a mono-pitched roof. And that means, well, basically what it sounds like. We'll have a pitch on one side. You could either do a low pitch, medium pitch, high pitch. It really doesn't matter for this. Right now I'm doing a low pitch, but essentially what you'll be doing is just building a slope on one side of the building. And I personally, once again, like to have a little bit of an overhang like this. Again, this doesn't have to be just low pitch, it could also be medium or high. Whatever pitch you decide to go with, all you need to do from that point is to take the sidewall of your building and carry it all of the way up to the top. Then once again, you could either have an attic, you could have multi-level floors, or you could just have a really, really vaulted ceiling. So as you can see, with the mono-pitched roof, the wider the building, the taller it's going to end up being. Maybe you like having a pitch like this, but you don't want it to be so tall, but you don't exactly want to do a gable either. That's where the next rooftop is going to come into place. Say you don't want a rooftop that is this tall, and say that you don't want a gable exactly, but you like having this roof that goes up and then a flat edge. We could actually combine a couple of different techniques to get what's called a split roof. So how this is going to work is we're going to build two mono slopes and then kind of just sandwich them together. We'll start off by doing one right here. Now, if we did the same thing on the other side, it wouldn't be a mono-sloped roof, it would just be a gable. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to lift the side of this wall up, but not nearly as high as this one. And then we'll start building another mono-sloped roof from here. And we need to make sure that there's a generous bit of overhang between the two. Then we take our walls, whatever material you'll be using for yours, and just run it from the lower roof to the upper one. And there we go. By combining two mono-pitched roof, we end up with a split roof. But we could also combine gables in a different way to get the next roof design. This is going to be called an asymmetrical gable, and it's done pretty much how you might suspect, by doing two different pitches of gables combined together. So we'll have a medium gable on this side right here. But on the other side, we're going to have a low pitch gable. And we'll just run that low pitch gable until it meets up with the high one right there. Then we will thicken this up like we've done with all of the other roof designs. Then I'm just going to cut off the very edge of it right here so that it matches with the other side, and probably just slope that down like this. This is one of the more janky roof designs in Terraria just because of the way that the blocks look. We can't get a perfectly smooth texture. Of course, if we did the half slope method, it would look better on the top, but it wouldn't necessarily look better on the bottom. So you can kind of decide which you like more. I'm going to just show you both because I want to be pretty thorough in this video. And there we have an asymmetrical gable. Obviously, this would work the same way if we combined a medium pitched gable with a high pitched gable. We could even do a low pitched gable with a high pitched gable, but it would probably end up really, really tall. It's up to you. Mix and match, have some fun. The next rooftop is going to take what we've learned and flip it on its head, quite literally. This will be the butterfly roof, and it basically takes the gable and flips it upside down. So we'll be starting here in the middle, and we'll be working our way out. So now that we have our upside down gable, we'll just take the walls and expand them up until they connect with the roof. And we'll do that on both sides. Then we'll just get rid of this in here. And there we go, we have a butterfly roof. It's a very, very weird design, one that I almost never work with, but it is quite interesting. The butterfly roof does work with any of the gable combinations. If you wanted an asymmetrical one, it would look just as good. In fact, I think you would probably see that more often than a symmetrical one, but you could also do it with low pitch or high pitch as well. And talking about this V-dip for the butterfly, the next roof will be doing another letter of the alphabet, but instead of V, this one will be doing an M. So we'll basically be building two gables side by side and then making a little M shape from them. And there we go, the M-shaped roof. You could build this for a Mario house, I guess, or whatever you wanted to, really. And once again, with all of these roof designs, you could try different pitches, you can mix and match, you can do a lot of different things. In fact, I've built M-shape in the past, but I separated them by leaving a gap between, so I basically had a gable, then a side space, then another gable. You could do stuff like that. But there is a very simple M-shape roof. The last two roof designs are going to be a little bit different. This first one, not as much, as it's going to be essentially combining a couple of different gable designs into one. And this one's going to be called a gambrel. Not gable, gambrel. You'll most likely associate this rooftop with like a barn or something like that. And how we're going to do this one is by having a high-pitched gable, but it's not going to meet all of the way up at the center by being high-pitched. We're going to go probably about that way up, probably about 3/4 of the way up in high pitch. And then from here, we'll do a medium pitch gable. So we have a sharper climb up, and then it kind of smooths itself out. And there we go, the sharp and then more smooth gambrel. Like I said, this is usually associated with something like a barn, and oftentimes when I build something like this, I even just shave off the very tippy top of it and give it a flat top. Now, as you could tell, by combining these two gables in this way, it's almost more rounded, which will lead us to the final roof design, which is a curved roof. Now, for this roof, I kind of just do it by feel. There's not like a set stair pattern that we could do like with the other ones. I just kind of go a longer length of blocks at the bottom, then I go thinner as we go up, and then even more thin as we go up, and then eventually I just start to even it out and I start going longer towards the top, probably something like this. And usually it ends up looking a little bit different for each house, just because I'm going by what feels right for the building that I'm doing at the time. But we get a nice rounded looking roof over the top of the building. This works great if you need a dome. This works great if you need like a leafy top building. And there we go, a curved roof. So we have 12 different, very simple roof designs. We have the curved roof, a gambrel, M-shape, butterfly, asymmetrical gable, split roof, mono-pitched roof, high-pitched gable, low-pitched gable, standard gable, A-frame, and a flat roof. I hope you all found this build tutorial helpful. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out Chaos Theory, my brand new variety gaming content channel. And the first video of that channel will be dropping tomorrow at around this time. A special thanks to my biggest supporters for the month: Kasu, Slathozar Porb, Pombo, and Matthew Sedgwick. And be sure to check out my channel artist, MythicalWater, linked in the description below. Thank you all very much for watching. Be back soon with a new video. Happy building.